Welcome to a brand new series, the CRM Challenge. I am very excited. My name is Michael Hammond, and I have an incredible guest for you today. We have the founder and CEO of Incelerate. He's a mover and a shaker. He's a thought leader. But more than anything, he is very insightful in technology and what helps drive the mortgage industry forward. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael.
It's great to have you. So, Josh, I think one of the important things, and I want to kind of set the stage for this, is you talk to lenders throughout the country. I've talked to a number of lenders throughout the country. Rates are fluctuating, volumes are down. They're trying to figure out what do they need to do. And one of the things that they're all telling me is they're looking to technology to gain greater efficiencies, to really streamline different processes. They talk about the importance of engagement. But I think one of the critical things that they have to realize is when they look at engagement, when they look at better outreach and these different tools that they're using, not all CRMs are created equal. So tell me a little bit about, I know you're very passionate about this topic. You've built CRMs. You know this subject intimately. Why are not all CRMs equal? And why, if you have some technology that was built 10 or 15 years ago, you're really way behind in today's market?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of different questions there. But like first, when it comes to the age of technology, I think lenders really need to understand that a lot of industries are airline industry, insurance industry, auto industry, mortgage industry. We're really far behind in some technology. You go to other industries that are way more advanced than we are. There's automation and that we don't have, especially in mortgage. And part of it's because 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people started using certain LOSs and they've been using the same ones. And, and up until now, there really wasn't a reason to change. Like, why change? Just go to a different LOS, which pretty much does the same thing. It manages people who manage files, and you can have controls of who signs off of what, so that hasn't really changed. And now it's like, all right, well, wait a minute, some things are starting to change. So the technology advance is what you can do with software, and the inventive is really, now there are new things to be done. Now you can streamline efficiency, and now you can really understand, what's going on with your business. And I think that's what a lot of lenders need to understand is the software they had or maybe have now may not give you the ability to actually even see everything that's going on or even see a complete picture. You don't necessarily know what you don't know. You don't know what real estate agents are producing business and what loan officers, where they're struggling, or there's so many things you just don't know. And, I think that's why lenders we're seeing right now, the market's been tough. But I mean, I have lenders who are growing. They're like, hey, Josh, any company, it's downsized and let me know. I want to hire their loan officers. Now, I'll tell you, those people are super in the weeds when it comes to using the technology. They're using all kinds of different things, and they're being successful right now because there's so many lenders out there that don't use that modern or efficient technology.
You made so many key points there. I think lenders don't know what they don't know. And that's part of the reason why we say take the CRM challenge. Take a look at what's out there. Look at what a modern system has to offer. There is no harm in looking at how other people are taking advantage of this new technology, this modern technology. So let's cover some of the highlights, some of the key areas, and then we're going to have a series, and each week you and I are going to cover very nitty-gritty examples so that people can really get into the weeds, like you said. But today, let's cover from a high-level perspective. Let's talk about lending channels. Do most CRMs handle all lending channels, some lending channels? Give me your feedback on that front.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an area where, obviously we stand out in the industry right now is that we serve every lending channel, whether it's a forward mortgage, reverse mortgage, TPO wholesale, retail, consumer direct, whether you have a servicing portfolio you're managing, runoff on. Our platform serves all of them, and it doesn't just serve them. A lot of times people use software to say serve the wholesale channel. What they're really using is the software that manages a borrower, which isn't the same thing. Not the same thing. Our system is actually its own piece of its own object, its own workflow, its own management, which is separate than how you manage a borrower. So some of these things that lenders are running into, which, listen, it works 90%, 80% as well as you want it to. If you use it, you use another system like that, but you want it to work 100%, and then you want integrations, which is a whole nother level of why you don't want to be using older technology.
Well, and so the first thing is most current CRMs that have been in the mortgage industry for a number of years don't handle all of these channels, or if they do, to your point, if you're trying to use it for wholesale and really manage your TPO channel, and all it's really built for is to manage the borrower, then how do you handle all of those brokers and everything? Well, I'll tell you how, at least I hear how people are handling it. Bunch of damn Excel spreadsheets. They have people on their staff that are for 4 or 5 hours a day scrubbing all of these spreadsheets. So if the point of looking at technology in a tough market is to gain efficiencies, is to streamline, is to lower the cost to originate so that they can gain more market share, I don't think having to scrub Excel spreadsheets for 4 or 5 hours a day with multiple people is the way to go about doing that.
No, it's not. And that's even if that even gets done, and even if that gets done, right? I mean, what we really try to do, and I've been in the industry for a long time, and I look at sales organizations. This weekend I was buying some new furniture, and they offered us the protection plan, and I said, no, it's okay, because from my experience, it's never worked out for me. They actually had the manager come over, review the order with me, and then try to sell me the protection plan a second time. I said, the first sales guy said, that's the process. He goes, yeah, that's just the way it works. And I'm like, no wonder you guys are growing so fast, and you guys are being so successful because you do things in a process and you have a repeatable outcome. So it's how do you manage that within the organization? So these companies who are succeeding right now are finding, oh, I take this process, I communicate this way, I manage this way, I automate it, and I ask my loan officers to do this, and this is what they get at the end. We get these results. And that's where the market's going to today. I mean, it's how do you build in our industry? It's how do you build repeatable processes that make it easy for customers to transact? And how do you protect if you're a lender, what's your largest asset? It's your customer base.
Yep.
So if you provide no technology to your loan officers, and all your tech and all your customer bases happens to be that Jim and Sally are great people and everyone loves Jim and Sally, they're going to give all their referrals to Jim and Sally. Well, how old is Jim and Sally? If you're the average loan officer of retail, you're in your 60s. Jim and Sally's retiring. What are you going to do? Right. So you really have to start thinking about that, technology. And we have lenders, again, that are growing right now. They're like, I wasn't making quite as much money as I was last year, but I'm still making money, and we're happy. So that's still happening. There's lenders that are being successful, and they are very much have been the heavy users of our software.
Well, and I love how you talk about repeatable processes, right? That's the power of duplication. So you don't have to throw more bodies at it, and you can gain and reap those rewards. Let's talk about one of the other misconceptions out there that I always hear all the time. Well, Michael, we're not going to look at stuff unless it connects to our tech stack. And then you hear lenders out there say, well, we have APIs, or we have, and you got to really listen carefully, an API. They have one API. Tell me why not all APIs, webhooks, and microservices are the same.
So APIs is just it's a term, application protocol interface. So it's just a term for a specific doorway you can create for people to enter your software. Now, the truth of it is, and this is what people need to understand, APIs are, let's say, like a car. You can say I have APIs, but I show up at your car lot and all you have is 2-door hatchbacks. That's all you have. I need a truck, right? So it doesn't mean that it's everything that I want, because what happens is, and say, for example, for our APIs, we have ones that say you want to look at the call reports and get call information from what's going on inside the system. There's an API that gives you call information. Let's say you want to find out distribution. You have a website and someone's applying online. You want to distribute to a local loan officer in the marketplace and give them real time. So the website can say, hey, Josh is going to be a loan officer. You can use our API distribution engine, hit our API, and we'll distribute the lead and tell you who it is and match it up. You want to update a record. There's all these different APIs that do different things. So so software companies they have an API. Well, that API maybe it lets you create a first name, last name, and address and create a record. That's all it does. Can't change it, can't update it. Any tools that you use, any logic you want to use, can't use any of that stuff. It's just basic stuff. So people need to understand when someone asks you, talking about APIs, you as a lender, the best thing I can say is this: outline the use case right now, what you want to do, and then you can say, all right, does your API support this, and go down what you need to be done. That tells you whether or not that provider, and if you're currently the provider and you don't have these integrations, and you already know the answer. The answer that doesn't exist. Otherwise, you'd already have them. I think lenders really need to understand that there's a lot of great technology companies that have been out there, and obviously, they've done for a long time. They've done a great job, but it's just changed. And it's just newer technology. It's not the same thing anymore. And we're seeing it. We're seeing lenders succeed where they're really using technology.
Well, let's talk about then, let's go a little bit deeper into webhooks and microservices, right? Because that's what really can expand the functionality of a platform like the Accelerate platform and really add a lot of fuel to the fire to really maximize what they're trying to do in the marketplace.
Yeah, I think part of that is talk about design of software. A lot of the software that's been in the mortgage industry has been people that have created something for themselves. I originally created Accelerate for myself, so this is kind of like a path. But what happens is, what we did, before I became a loan officer, I was studying to be a civil engineer. So I used to be a computer programmer. So I've been inside technology my entire life, and I've been building technology in the mortgage space for myself since 2003. We looked at it. All right, so not only do we have a need to fill, but we need to look at this as how do companies like Salesforce and Microsoft and all these other people, how do they build their systems? What's the processes? How do you make it so your system is going to be scalable and you can make changes? The reason why these systems don't have lots of changes to them because they weren't built with the idea of being able to make a lot of change. They were built, here's the purpose, and then when you need to make changes, you have to figure out how to make changes. We took the approach of let's build our system so that we can constantly innovate on it. And what we went down to is like what's called like an N-tier application. And we use what's called microservices. So each part of our system is its own little piece of code. Its own little software for distributions, has like probably multiple engines. But these different engines, each one's its own code, and they have APIs that connect it to the rest of the software. So if we ever need to make a change, we want to add something new, we can just build this piece of software and there's APIs all around that we can connect it to. So it's technical terms, but it's basically like, Christmas tree lights. We have, plugs that fit with everything, right? So if you want to add something new on it, you're able just to stop and go, here, I want to put this plug here, and you can stick it in wherever you want, if that makes sense, because everything works together and the plumbing's all the same. There's no differences. So you're able to just move things around. And that has given us a real competitive advantage.
And I think that's, again, going back to our original premise of why it's so critical in today's market to take a look at the modern technology that's out there, see what's available, find out how this technology could significantly impact their organization by either streamlining things, taking steps out of the equation, freeing people up to do more of what they need to do. One of the other things, we've talked about the tech backbone, we talked about APIs, we talked about lending channels. I think one of the other key differentiators is mobile, right? A lot of people say, well, I have mobile, or the term that I love, and I've learned to just make fun of this all the time, is that you can text, and then it's in quotes that you can text out of our platform. Well, you and I know most of the time that means you've got to go into a randomized number. It's not coming from my cell phone. It's only when I'm logged into the desktop version. And what I have found is if I'm at my kid's soccer game or I'm at the grocery store, if I'm out to dinner with my wife on the weekend, I'm not in front of my desktop and I can't be very damn responsive. Talk to me about the importance of mobile and native mobile and what the difference is from what a lot of people are claiming out there.
Yeah, I think, first there's native mobile applications where actually you download it from the App Store or Google Play, whatever one, and it's his own application. And there's people who say, well, our website renders in HTML5, so from a mobile phone, you can look at it from a mobile phone. That is really what's mostly out there. And that's not very conducive because it's hard to interact with it. And then, versus where you go into a mobile application that we control the screens. And so a great example of our technology, our mobile application connects to our platform 100% through APIs. So a lender, if wanted to, they could create their own front end to our system and use all of our engines, our LOS tools, we have a lot of different logic builders. They could use all of our tools and create their own front end. Just kind of, that's food for thought. But we have a native mobile app. And then we really, I mean, it's funny, we really created it because of text messaging. That was it. And, we do have retail loan officers, lots of them on our system. We also have consumer direct. The truth is it wasn't originally for retail loan officers. It was originally for the consumer direct loan officers. And the reason was they're doing so many transactions. And just to your point, they have text messages going out to these customers. They're at lunch. And this customer's like, yeah, I want to go lock in that rate. If you wait an hour and a half to get back to your desk to respond to that person, you may not get that business in that
right.
Right? If it's Saturday, you're walking your dog and the person says, I'm ready to go. Yeah, okay, give me this or whatever it is. That quick transaction really speeds up the business. So it was really for even just the call center folks because they realized the utter importance of not being at their desk. And then obviously the retail group started really grabbing onto it because it's not just text. It gives you access to all your partners. You can look at things like rate lock expiration. How about this? It's Saturday. You don't know when the rate lock expires. You can get it on the mobile app. You can see what real estate agent's there. Oh, this is the buyer's agent. Let me tell them. Let me send them a text that says that the rate's about to expire in 3 days. All that can be done from the mobile phone. So now you can, not carry the laptop and, just have a mobile phone. And that works with, we're integrated to half a dozen or more LOSs already. So, it's out there. Any of the systems out there you can use it with.
Josh, you share so many great insights. We could go on, but what we'll do is this series, each week we're going to talk about and get into some very detailed specifics of when people say, well, what is this about modern technology? Why should I look at and take on the CRM challenge? Get a demo, see what's new out there, see how it could apply to your organization. There is nothing to lose by taking a half hour, 45 minutes out of your time to look at it. What else would you like to share as we wrap up today? Give me some insights on why people should take the CRM challenge.
I think to your point, it's see what else is out there. And not only that, even if you're happy with the technology, you may get some new ideas of how to use your current technology. Right, because we're handling 300 to 500,000 applications a month, 2 to 3 million prospects. A lot of data. We have a lot of knowledge of this. So you may find out something that you can maybe able to accomplish with your system, but you haven't thought of it that way. So in any way, it makes sense to start looking at this now because I'm just going to tell you, if you think that the software that you're using that was built 20 years ago is going to be what you're using in 10 years, if you're still in business, you're wrong. It can't be. It has to change. So that's what the market needs to understand.
Exactly. So in today's market, take the CRM challenge, take a look at Accelerate, schedule a demo with them, find out the difference. And each week, Josh and I will be back with you, sharing other key insights and cool differentiators in the market so that you can maximize and streamline your origination process. Josh, thank you so much for being a guest this episode of the CRM challenge.
Thanks, Michael.